Thank you so much, Old Sound. This has been a blast. We'll hope to see you guys again soon. Take care. Have a great night. And if you want to come say hi, we'll be over here. Come be social.
I'm going to say hi.
Come say hi then.
Thanks, guys, for coming all this way up from London and spending your evening with us here at the Harmony Center. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Adrian's going to come and do this draw. Ooh, oh, do I get to pick a name? All right. There's like other stuff in this box. Pens and... Helen Scott. I think they're still here. Yay, upstairs. Awesome. You can come grab your tickets down here whenever you guys are leaving. Don't forget to pick up your cards. These are rack cards, and they've got TD Harbor Nights lineup on one side and midweek music on the other side. We did move midweek music to, we're moving it around Owen Sound. So Wednesday at 4 o'clock, we have Josh Ritchie, and it's going to be at the Great Gallery Gardens, which is on 2nd Avenue. Across from the Royal Bank, there's a little alcovey area. It's a beautiful garden. All you need is your lawn chair. You can come join us at 4 o'clock. And then we're also back at hopefully, at the Rail Museum next Sunday night at 7, and we have the Sherry Jackson Band from the Thornbury area. So hopefully you all will join us. Thanks very much to the band. Make sure you go to say hi to these guys, grab some merch. They've got some really cool beer koozies. I got one last year. I took it out on the boat, but I don't drink beer on the boat, but I took it on the boat. But thank you again to TD Bank for supporting us all summer long, as well as to Country 93 for supporting us tonight. So thanks all for coming, and have a good night.
Due to the length of the preceding program, we now join the regularly scheduled program already in progress.
How serious is elder abuse?
The issue is very serious. To put this in context for Grey and Bruce counties, we have recent research from across Canada indicating that 10% of people age 65 and older experience some sort of abuse. Translating that into our population in Grey and Bruce counties, according to the 2021 census, we had roughly 45,000 people age 65 and older living in Grey and Bruce counties. That means if we have elder abuse happening in accordance with the national average, that 4,500 people age 65 and older in a year in Grey and Bruce counties are experiencing some sort of elder abuse. That's a big number of people who are experiencing harm at a time of life that we like to refer to as the golden years. It's not golden for people who are being abused. Elder abuse can take a number of forms and can cause significant harm to older adults. So, for example, financial abuse occurs when someone is taking action with the older adult's money, to which the older adult did not consent. I have seen situations that people have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars through people taking their money, and we are not successful often in the legal world in getting that money back. Imagine the quality of life a senior could have if they had hundreds of thousands of dollars more available to them to arrange care for them at home or to supplement care they're receiving in some sort of residence. A second example of elder abuse is physical abuse. There has been research done showing a correlation between people experiencing elder abuse and dying earlier than they would have otherwise. Part of that relates to physical abuse, that there's some sort of injury caused to an older adult. It can result in a fall. It can result in the older adult being more susceptible to illnesses. So the older adult is not only experiencing pain and discomfort while they're still alive, but there is research indicating that people who experience this sort of abuse die sooner than they would have otherwise. And those are just a couple of examples of types of elder abuse and the significant harm that they can cause. So elder abuse is a serious issue in terms of the numbers of people impacted by it and the severity of the consequences.
But it's not well talked about. It's really isn't.
It isn't. And we have a perfect example illustrating that we don't talk about it very much in Grey and Bruce counties. I made inquiries about ensuring that elder abuse was part of the community and safety and well-being plan for Grey and Bruce counties. And I was told that it's not part of the plan because it was not identified as a priority by the people of Grey and Bruce counties when they were surveyed about their concerns regarding community safety and well-being. So that's a perfect example of how this issue is not on the radar of the general public, despite the magnitude of it.
And that's a perfect segue into the role of Sheater. And David, that's your particular expertise. Sheater is a well-known, can I use the word production company?
Sure,
Production collective that always has some innovative theater that they've done in the past, and this is nothing different. Sheater is now involved in WEAD, and what's Sheater doing?
So you're absolutely right. What we produce is art, and we produce art with community members. So myself and Joan Chandler are kind of the two professional artists who are on kind of at the heart of Sheater for all of our projects. And then each project involves people from the community who have a stake in whatever issue or whatever story that we're trying to tell. So people get involved because they care about the issues. Some writer once said, write about what you know and write about what you love. And so act about what you know and act about what you love. And so during the process of working on this show, we learned about these different kinds of elder abuse, whether it be, as Angela was mentioning, financial or emotional or sexual, physical, or abandonment and neglect. And the stories came from circumstances that happened, events that happened in Grey and Bruce. So these are our stories. They're difficult stories to tell, but theater is a great way of breaking through that stigma. And probably one of the reasons that elder abuse didn't figure on that survey was that due to stigma. Like, if, do you want to reveal that you have seen this happen to somebody that you know, or maybe it's happening to you? The stigma is so great that one of the first things we have to do is try to lift the stigma so that we not normalize that abuse happens, normalize talking about something that is definitely wrong, so that then people don't get obstructed from getting the help that they need. So I guess we got involved by doing a production, probably back in 2005 or 2006, and we do original work. So we got together with two seniors who were interested in the issue, Audrey Otter and Ted Kodak, and myself and Joan made up the foursome that created a play with those scenes from local life in Grey and Bruce. And the play takes its title from a kind of a comedy song called "You Canna Throw Your Granny Off a Bus," which is to the tune of "She'll be coming around them. You canna throw your granny off a bus. Oh, you canna throw your granny off a bus. Oh, you canna throw your granny, 'cause she's your mammy's mammy. You canna throw your granny off a bus." So by injecting songs and humor in between these scenes, which are quite dark and quite emotional, you can lift the spirits. We found a way to do it. The two main characters are rehearsing for a concert. So we had an excuse to bring in songs that people would know to lighten the mood. And then this play, Audrey and Ted took this play on the road all over Ontario. They even performed it in England, where they had relatives. And then the play had a life of its own. Sadly, Ted died a number of years ago, and we retired the play. And then there was demand to have it back. We did it through the Bruce County Museum and Cultural Center with a new cast, added some new songs to it. And then the present cast has been with it for about 5 years. And they were actually on an Ontario tour. The Elder Abuse Prevention Ontario heard about the play, saw it, and thought, this is a great tool. Let's bring it together for some of our regional meetings. So we were actually on tour to 4 places around Ontario. And we were worried that spring of 2020 that we were worried because we thought that the roads were going to be impassable because we get blizzards up here. And instead, we got shut down not because of a blizzard, but because of the pandemic and COVID. So how do you tour a play when you can't tour and nobody's gathering? So what we hit upon was to transform the play into a podcast. And I just looked at the stats on the podcast of Granny. We've had over 1,600 downloads as of today. That play, Granny, also inspired an Indigenous adaptation with new stories from Indigenous communities. We did that up on Manitoulin Island at Wet'suwet'en Unceded First Nation. And that's had over 400 downloads. So we've had over 2,100 downloads so far of the podcast, which is wonderful. So you find a way to do it. Now, this most recent evolution is to do it within the context of a TV program for WEAD. So it's quite exciting to see how this has evolved. So how do we do it? How do we do the program? Well, we're storytellers. So we take some of those scenes from the Granny play. One of them has to do specifically with emotional and financial abuse. The other one has to do with physical abuse, neglect, abandonment, confinement, and emotional abuse. And we play these scenes. That gets people starting to think about what are the issues involved. Now, we've also got an amazing studio audience that is comprised of service providers, our health resources and social service resources from Gray and Bruce, who deal with these issues every day. And instead of just playing the play, what we do is we play the play, and then the studio audience actually is going to intervene. So they're going to actually stop the action and see if they can change the script somehow by playing a character and changing the action for the better. Now, I'm not going to do any spoilers. I'm not going to tell you what happened, but nobody knew what was going to happen on the day. Not the people that were intervening, not us, not the actors, nobody. So it was quite exciting to see it unfold. You'll have to tune in to see what, did their strategies work. And then after those interventions, the studio audience, and I can go through some of the people that were involved, but the studio audience then discusses the issues. And Angela was one of the studio audience for the day, as well as speaking about WEAD. So I don't know, what was that like?
Oh, it was amazing to be able to look at a situation and be able to intervene. I find it so frustrating in my role as a lawyer that so often I hear about these situations after the harm has already been caused, and there's little that we can do often in law to unwind the harm that has happened. I much prefer the idea of educating people about their legal rights and the services available to them to stop these things from happening in the first place. So being able to be part of a situation where I could intervene and say, well, if I had talked to this person before they signed this legal document, I would have told them X, Y, Z, and have the person say, well, if I'd known that, I wouldn't have signed the document, was a gratifying experience. And I wish those would be the conversations I would have more in my office than the conversation of, my money's gone, I've appointed this person to help me, how do I fix this problem?
Yeah.
Right.
So in addition to Angela from the legal clinic, we also had people from CMHA, Gray Bruce, the men's program, the WISE settlement and language services, behavioral support team from Bright Shores, Owen Sound Hospital, and the manager of the Meridian Credit Union. So, and Sandra Hong from the Alzheimer's Society. So all of these different perspectives then can be brought into play. So you've got a whole team working on the issue. Yeah.
I know that there's a lot of production work that's gone into this, but when will the show air?
So it will premiere on June 15th, World Elder Abuse Day, World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, which is a Saturday. And because, hey, we can gather again, we invite you to watch it on television on the 15th. But as it premieres, we're going to have a screening party. We're going to have a watch party at the library in Owen Sound. And it's free, and everybody is invited to attend. The actors will be there. We'll be able to congratulate the actor. I don't know if we'll have a red carpet, but we'll have the actors there. There'll be coffee and tea, coffee and tea, and there will be some resource people to do a Q&A after we watch the program. The great thing is with this is not only it's not going to be just a one-off. Rogers is wonderful because what they do is they archive their programs on their website, and Sheeter will be able to archive this program as well, and then we'll be able to, if somebody's interested in the topic, we or our partners like Angela will be able to just send the link to the program, and there is a wonderful conversation starter about how do you prevent or how do you raise awareness of elder abuse?
Yes, and the watch party is happening at 11 a.m. on June 15th at the library in Owen Sound, right, David? And then I understand the program is airing again on our Rogers station for Owen Sound and area at 6 o'clock in the evening on June 15th. So 2 opportunities to watch.
And after that, as you said, David, Rogers puts their shows up on the website.
Yeah,
it'll live forever.
Which is great.
As I well know, and Carol well knows, this show will live forever. And but they also post it to YouTube, so the links will be there. People can watch it. It'll be a great opportunity for people to have a discussion starter. I can see it happening in community groups. I can hear it happening in families.
Yeah.
All kinds of opportunities for professional groups, everything. So,
well, the other thing is that that because we are able to gather again, it's also an opportunity to see scenes from the play, of the Granny play, and if there's interest, we will be able to tour the Granny play to communities. So it's almost like letting people know, hey, this exists. It's an educational way and an entertaining way to approach a really sensitive and difficult subject. And we're just, I'm over the moon in terms of the actors that have put so much into this. And I'll say their names because they're amazing. Polly Schell, Joan McDonnell, and Paul and Carol Flood, all from this area, community players. Some of them have been involved with theater for decades, and some of them have been involved with Owen Sound Little Theater and the Roxy, again, for decades. And bringing them together and just seeing them pour their heart into it. I mean, I've seen the play, I don't know how many times, but I was choking up when they were doing the scenes. So
And just to echo what you said earlier, David, these really are Grey Bruce stories, and elder abuse is happening in Grey Bruce. I talked earlier about national statistics, but I can tell you that it is definitely happening locally. The Grey Bruce Elder Abuse Prevention Network recently held focus groups with seniors across Grey and Bruce counties, and 11% of the people who attended those groups disclosed that either they had been abused or they knew a senior who had been abused. So it truly is happening in our counties and is a very real, important issue for our communities.
Yeah.
Well, Angela, where can people find more information about elder abuse? It's great that the play is will stimulate discussion, but say someone is concerned, where can they start to look for more information?
As if they use the internet, they can go to a website that Public Health Grey Bruce has created about elder abuse to learn more about the issue, some examples of elder abuse and resources that are available provincially and locally to support people experiencing abuse. If they have questions about possible legal dimensions of abuse, they can certainly contact me at the Grey Bruce Community Legal Clinic. We are a free service for residents of Grey and Bruce counties. I can provide people with some initial advice about an elder abuse situation, regardless of their income. For the legal clinic to be more involved and help people with paperwork or mediation, they have to meet our low income eligibility threshold. But certainly just to get a conversation of advice to confirm that abuse is happening and look at their legal options, anyone in Grey Bruce, regardless of income, can access that service. We then also have, of course, 211 available, that if people aren't quite sure where to go to discuss this issue, they can always call 211 and get some ideas about community agencies that can assist. So those are a few key starting places for people.
And of course, people, if it's a real emergency, call 911.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. You hate to say it, but there are situations that are physically threatening, and 911 is the place to call. And I know from experience that the police are skilled in dealing with this. That's part of their own training, and I'm sure, Angela, that's not the call you want to tell people to make, but sometimes you have to make that call.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what's wonderful about doing this program is that, a lot of people in Grey and Bruce, they are in rural or remote, isolated situations. Those are the perfect conditions for elder abuse to happen. Plus, we also have 50% over the provincial average of seniors. The provincial average is about 16%. We have 24 to 25% of our population are older adults. So to have this opportunity through Rogers, to go into people's homes, to visit them through this Seniors Watch program is amazing. Maybe you won't be able to come to the watch party, but maybe you'll be watching Rogers. And so, again, I'm just so grateful to Rogers for saying yes.
I think also, David, what it does is it shows us how we can, I hate to use the word, but I'll use it, leverage the technology to get important information out. Whereas Sheeter might have done presentations in small groups or to community groups or, wherever you have spoken and presented at conferences in the past, this takes it to a new level. Yep. And all of a sudden, we can all access this important stuff. Now, I have to tell you, when you said the title, you cannot throw your granny under the bus, I remember that, and I remember the song, and I thought, okay, now I get it. And so what we've done is multiplied the audience potential for something that is incredibly important.
I think let's use everything at our disposal. Let's post about it on social media. Let's write about it in the newspaper. Let's do radio spots on it. Let's do television shows. Let's do live shows. Let's do it all.
Absolutely, because as I said earlier, it's so much better to prevent these situations before they happen than to try to fix them after they occur. So the more we can raise awareness about this issue, the more we have a chance of stopping abuse before it happens or before it becomes very serious, that it causes consequences that we can't reverse. And that's ultimately the point of WEAD, is to have that day every year, June 15th, that we pause and we recognize that elder abuse is a problem in our communities and it's not okay. And we want to change this problem from happening in our communities.
And it affects everybody. It's not just an older adults issue. This is a community issue. So no matter if you're like 5 or 75, it will affect you, because we're not, although we might live in isolation, we're not standalone beings. We live in community. So anybody in community can have the eyes or the ears to see, and if they think that something's wrong, they should tell somebody.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, I've noticed that bank counter workers are far more, I'm not going to use the words intentional in asking important questions now of people. You know, you stand in the line in the bank, and you'll see they're asking a lot more questions of investigation, digging, asking for clarification about something. And you know, I would think, gee, that's awfully intrusive, but no, that's what they're taking it seriously, because it is an issue. Mm-hmm. And so we've just got to keep this going, keep it up, keep it in front of all of us. And I think the flip side of that is that there is a responsibility for us not to treat our elders in this way, but to treat each other with respect.
Yeah. Sure, if it starts at an early age, understanding what the concept of respect is, then you grow up living that, you are going to have a very, very clear attitude about what is right and what is not acceptable as you age and as you get older. Yeah. And whether that's sticking up for somebody else or sticking up for yourself, it's all good.
Angela, David, I want to thank the both of you for talking about You Cannot Throw Your Granny Under the Bus, which will be coming up on June 15th. And there's a watch party, and watch for, I'm sure it'll be in social media. But thank you both for coming in and telling us about this exciting event. Hey, there actually is a well-known voice from this show that is part of that too, but I won't spill all the beans.
We're very, very happy to have Carol be the host of Seniors Watch, and I think it's gonna be great.
Great. Well, thank you both, and thank you, friends, for being a part of HealthLink. I'm David Shearman. Yes, we'll talk again.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
You're watching an interesting local show on Rogers TV and you want to know more. That's when you head to rogerstv.com. Our website provides more information about our programs, our hosts, our schedule, and about how you too can get involved with Rogers TV. Visit us online at rogerstv.com.
Tuesdays on City TV. It's summer's #1 show. Go for